Do you think Shazam could defeat Darkseid? Darkseid is a master strategist with a wealth of combat experience, while Shazam, though powerful, is still learning and growing as a hero. Shazam possesses the powers of 6 mythological figures: Solomon of wisdom, Hercules of strength, Atlas of endurance, Zeus of strength, Achilles of courage, and Mercury of speed. This gives him superhuman strength, speed, durability. Darkseid is one of the most powerful entities in the DC universe. He possesses superhuman strength, durability, and intelligence, as well as the ability to manipulate energy and matter. His Omega Beam can disintegrate or teleport opponents, and is a significant threat to almost any hero. Before we dive into the analysis, please hit the subscribe button, and remember to turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon. Thank you very much. Shazam can beat Superman, and Superman can beat Darkseid. So, by that logic, Shazam must be stronger than Darkseid. It sounds reasonable, but this argument is only true in theory, but in practice, it is completely different. Superman has actually defeated Darkseid decisively at times, without any help or external factors. Every time they confront each other, Darkseid is always a threat beyond normal physical strength, and he usually only temporarily retreats rather than being destroyed. Darkseid is not only a villain with immense power, but also the embodiment of cosmic evil, with intelligence, strategy, and manipulation far beyond any hero. Even Billy Batson, with his pure heart, courage, and power of the gods, has never shown the ability to defeat Darkseid in a fair fight. Shazam may be strong, fast, and brave, but pure strength alone is not enough to overcome an entity like Darkseid, who manipulates reality and spreads fear throughout the galaxy. There is a very clear reason why Darkseid is built as an anti-hero. The central figure confronts the entire Justice League. Instead of focusing on Superman or Shazam, Darkseid is not a villain, but a single individual. He represents a metaphysical force of cosmic proportions and threatens the existence of the entire planet and even the multiverse. Therefore, to deal with him, it requires the combined strength of many heroes, not just one person. Every time Superman wins against Darkseid, it is usually the result of many combined factors, help from teammates, luck, or temporary strategies, rather than an absolute victory. Darkseid is never completely destroyed. He always comes back stronger and more dangerous than before. Even Superman, the ultimate symbol of power and justice, cannot overcome Darkseid forever. And if Superman has to struggle like that, then Shazam, despite possessing extraordinary powers, cannot defeat a force like Darkseid alone. Superman and Shazam are more or less equal. If Superman dives, he can become more powerful, but otherwise they are almost equal. Even though Shazam possesses godlike strength, super speed, and unwavering courage, that is still not enough to confront a force like Darkseid head-on. The reality in the DC universe has clearly proven that to stop Darkseid, it takes the combined strength of the entire Justice League, the world's top hero. During the invasion of Earth initiated by Darkseid, no one can stop him alone. The team including Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, The Flash, Aquaman, Cyborg, and Batman had to work closely together to push Darkseid back to Apocalypse. This clearly shows that no individual, no matter how excellent, can confront a cosmic threat like him alone. Notably, in that battle, Superman, who is often considered the benchmark of strength, was defeated by the Omega Beam. Not only is this beam powerful, it also has incredible speed, being able to hit Superman and almost catch up with the world's fastest superhero, Flash. When a single strike from Darkseid is enough to shake the foundations of power of 2 of the fastest and strongest heroes, it's clear that Shazam has little chance if he has to face him alone. Even if Shazam can withstand a direct attack from Darkseid and still stand, that doesn't mean he can maintain the fight for long. Darkseid is not the type of opponent to just throw a punch and stop. He possesses superior physical strength, extraordinary durability, and the ability to fight continuously at extremely high intensity without slowing down. If one blow is not enough to take him down, he will continue to attack relentlessly, which has brought down many a powerful person. It's important to note that even without the Omega Beam, a weapon of extreme destruction and a symbol of absolute power, Darkseid is a warrior far beyond the norm. He can go toe-to-toe with Superman without seeming to be outdone, and in many cases even prevail. While Superman is often bound by morals and self-imposed limits, Darkseid has no such restrictions. What many fail to realize when discussing Darkseid's power is the core difference between the 2 versions of his existence. Most audiences and readers are familiar with Darkseid through his battles on Earth, but that is merely a projection, an avatar created to interact with lower dimension. Darkseid's true true form exists outside the regular DC multiverse, beyond the confines of the 52nd dimension that Earth is in. The original version of Darkseid is not bound by the laws of physics or power limits. His mere presence is enough to warp galaxies, destabilize reality, and cause time and space to collapse. He is not only physically powerful, but also cosmic in nature, almost literally divine. The Omega effect from Darkseid's true form is not only a weapon of absolute destruction, but also powerful enough to inflict pain on supreme beings like the Anti-Monitor or Spectre, beings that are not susceptible to any kind of energy. This further reinforces an undeniable truth. Darkseid is not just a powerful villain, but a phenomenon that exists beyond the typical heroes and villains. Even when using only an avatar, a less powerful representation of Darkseid's power, he is still capable of confronting and overwhelming the entire Justice League. This shows how terrifying he is. Compared to Captain Marvel, even in her maximum enhanced state like Binary, she has absolutely no chance against Darkseid. If she falls under his hands, her soul will be manipulated, transformed, and eventually become part of the bloodthirsty parademon army. At that time, Captain Marvel will no longer be a symbol of hope, but will just be another tool in the hands of the tyrant Apocalypse. It is undeniable that Shazam has enough power to defeat Superman in certain situations. In fact, Superman once admitted that Shazam is one of the few opponents they do not want to confront directly. In the superhero world, absolute power does not always guarantee victory. Shazam, with the power of Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, and Mercury, possesses an extremely diverse set of abilities, from physical strength, speed, to intelligence and flexible combat ability. In terms of physical strength, Superman and Shazam can be considered equal. Superman is enhanced by solar energy and becomes stronger over time. Meanwhile, Shazam does not depend on environmental factors, but directly exploits the power of the ancient gods. However, when it comes to confronting entities like Darkseid, both of them face clear limits. Darkseid, especially in his true form, is not only superior in strength, but also possesses strategic intelligence comparable to geniuses like Apex Lex, making him an opponent not to be underestimated. Or subscribe to the channel, it will help us a lot, and moreover, you will see great videos every day. You are the best. Thank you very much. When Darkseid, Lord of Apocalypse, discovers that the Earth is hiding an ancient energy source called the Eternal Light Energy, he immediately realizes that this is the key to absolute power. This type of energy not only possesses infinite healing properties, but can also increase power beyond all physical and magical limits. If completely absorbed, Darkseid will have no opponents in the universe, becoming the embodiment of unstoppable destruction. However, the presence of this pure energy causes the universe to shake. The inherent order is threatened. At that moment, Shazam, who holds the power of the 6 ancient gods, feels the turmoil spreading throughout all things. As one of the guardians of the balance between light and darkness, Shazam is immediately summoned by the ancient council of mages to prevent a potential disaster. Between good and evil, Shazam must face an unprecedented challenge. Not only does he protect the planet, he must also maintain the line between divine power and integrity. Shazam appears like lightning in the storm. Knowing that Darkseid is approaching the center where the eternal light energy is sealed, he is forced to act before it is too late. Without waiting for reinforcements, Shazam rushes into a life and death battle. However, Darkseid's terrible power quickly shakes that hope. Shazam's lightning attacks are completely neutralized under the destructive light from the Omega Beam, a dark energy capable of bending the laws of physics. All efforts become meaningless when he easily breaks his strongest attacks. Shazam does not fall immediately, but each deep wound and exhausted strength forces him to retreat from the battlefield. After a bitter defeat in the ruins of South America, Billy Batson seeks out the Spirit Realm, where the 6 legendary entities that gave him power reside. In the majestic presence of Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, and Mercury, he sought no encouragement or new strength. He asked only one thing, sincere and haunting: am I strong enough to stop him? Silence fell. There was no clear answer, no promise of victory. But in the eyes of each god, Billy realized one thing: strength did not lie in muscle or magic, but in the will to not yield to darkness. Shazam was now the shield between life and destruction. Darkseid, realizing that there was no barrier to his advance, decided to unleash all the most terrible power he possessed. With the swing of his arm, he tore the fabric of space, creating a giant space-time rift, a point of destruction capable of swallowing the entire Earth and reshaping reality according to his will. All life on the blue planet stood on the brink of complete obliteration. The fateful Omega Ray of absolute energy was released by Darkseid, aimed straight at the exhausted Shazam. It was a blow that no one could survive if hit But just when it seemed like the last hope was lost, Shazam raised his head, his gaze determined, and poured all the remaining of his soul into calling upon the ultimate thunderbolt, the pinnacle of ancient magic, the purest energy of the gods. With a roar from the sky, the mystical lightning struck down, not only shattering the Omega Beam, but also creating an ancient magical seal, trapping Darkseid in the eternal dimension. But the price was not small. Shazam is suddenly summoned to an ancient shrine by the wizard who gave him his powers in the first place. The wizard's face is clearer than ever, solemn and worried. If Darkseid gains access to the eternal light, he will surpass even the gods. He will become the ultimate being, ruling over space, time, and soul. Shazam was speechless at those words. More than a threat to Earth, Darkseid could now reach out to control the entire multiverse, the balance of the universe. Darkseid had finally touched the first flame, the primordial source of eternal light. That flame, once hidden by the creators since the beginning to prevent the abuse of absolute power, was now completely absorbed by the darkest entity in the universe. Immediately, Darkseid's body transformed, no longer a villain or a lord of apocalypse, but a transcendent entity beyond all concepts of divinity. Shazam carried within him an indomitable will that would not falter. He poured all the remaining divine energy, summoning the final storm of magic. The storm of lightning exploded, engulfing the space around them in a vortex of destruction, but it was still not enough. Even though the strike carried all of its power and purest will, but it still could not penetrate the layer of energy that Darkseid had just absorbed. Shazam's magic dissipated into nothingness, like an oil lamp running out of flame in a cosmic storm. Billy Batson, with no energy left to hold his heroic form, collapsed onto the cracked ground. When the last magical dust settled and the thunder stopped rumbling, only one entity remained standing in the ruins of Darkseid's dimension. He not only survived the destructive explosion, but emerged stronger, with an aura that far exceeded the limits of any god that had ever existed. No longer a conqueror, he was now the destiny that embodied despair and absolute power. Darkseid, now no longer a seeker of power, he was power. Winner, Darkseid. I hope you enjoyed this fight. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Please follow me if you like. That's today's video. Thanks a lot.